Cool. We are here.
So I was, as I was, preparing for jumping on here, I was looking through the scores and everything.
Hmm.
Looks like there's a ton of storylines that we can talk about, not only tonight, but also in the coming weeks. Because,
Yeah.
man, I mean, there are possible records in some matches. And I mean, there's goal of the season candidates already.
Hmm.
You had the last minute winner from One Knocks just within the past half hour.
Yep. It's good. That was actually the only other match that I've watched so far besides Omaha and Northern Colorado. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to diving in and watching all those.
yeah, there's a few.
And man, the Union Omaha stuff, man, geez, the hailstorm made it interesting down there in the final stretch.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have, but being down a man, and I mean, one of them was just a gift. When your center back jumps up to clear a ball and just completely misses it, it makes it
Oh,
pretty easy for somebody to jump on it. So
yeah.
pretty good crowd and everything too, though. I mean, it was super nice at the beginning, sitting out tailgating, but as soon as the wet wind came in and it got cold real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely brought that big cold front end that we were feeling today with all the wind and everything today too. So, but
Did
3 points is 3 points.
did quite a few people come to chat with you at your tailgate and halftime and everything?
Um, I did not see anybody before the match. Then I didn't bring the microphones in just because it was so windy. I don't think the mics even. We tried to do like a test for it, and it just all it picked up was wind noise. So I
Oh,
didn't even
okay.
bring him in with me. But Luke did stop me in the the concourse and say, "Oh, hey, yeah, I found you." Like, yeah, I would. I just don't have my mics because it's not gonna be able to hear anything anyway. He's like, "Yeah, those lapel mics are a little hit or miss in the wind." So,
Yeah, they are.
which was fine because I just went. And, it's not even the Jack Daniels Club anymore. It's like some casino bought out the naming rights for the bar
Oh,
underneath the press box. So
I didn't know that.
we went and hid in there for a little bit and then came back out for the match. It's easier to get beers in there than it is to wait in line outside. So
I gotta stop by that place because I all this time I thought it was you had to have tickets in a certain section to get in there and
you do.
all
It's
that
just
kind of stuff. So
it's as long as you have tickets on the midline, they have your name on a list. You just show them your ticket and then they give you a wristband and you go on in.
nice. All right. Well, I'll have to try that out.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. There's like I said, the lines are usually pretty short, and I think they sell alcohol up until the end of the match. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so you can go in. I mean, it's only 10 minutes, but if you're
Well,
a
still.
minute off, you can walk in there and pick something up.
There he is. How's it going, Tim? How you doing, man?
Hey, not bad, man. How things?
Good. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like the jersey, Tim.
Two heartbreaking, almost heartbreaking games. Oh, thank
Yeah,
you. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, almost two heartbreaking games there today, and I had to support. I had to do that. The only difference is that we didn't, actually go 10 men down on the other end. We didn't have to fight against that. So
Right.
Yeah.
So but still, Harry Kane got his goal with his most punchable face, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, and he's
Did
gonna
you
do
guys
it.
pull a hammy when you were celebrating that winner?
no, Union Omaha did not. Klopp did. I'm pretty sure.
I saw the video of Klopp sprinting across to go chirp at the Tottenham bench. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, and he wanted to get in on that fourth official too, because I guess there was some controversy there, but he also came back and said, "Yeah, I can't really tell you what I said, but I definitely deserve the yellow card." So,
Yeah.
I mean, it happens, man. People get so no, it's all good. People get so upset in those matches too, and I mean, it's understandable. Klopp's one of those dudes that he uh he wears his emotions on his sleeve. So, but I'd
Yeah,
rather see
that's
that
what we love
than
about him.
something else. Yeah, for sure.
It's what we love about him. And so, and this is from the year after we won the title. So I couldn't bring myself to bring one for last year or this year or so got some good vibes to it.
Yep. It's funny. That's the
Just rubbing
exact
it
jersey
in.
I got on too.
Just
Just
rubbing it in.
rubbing it.
I could have bought this jersey after they won this year or after they won this year. And here I am thinking like, well, it's been like since before I was born since they won.
Well, I mean, you guys got rid of Gerard, so I mean,
Yeah.
not that he was helping you out that much.
That's one step
No,
in the right direction for Villa.
Yeah,
seems
but
that way.
Yeah.
so yeah, I managed to I managed to hear you guys discussing some of the chaos that happened this weekend with the shows. That's or the games.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting there half asleep through the One Knox game, and then all of a sudden they scored that late one, and like I
Yep.
woke up just long enough to okay, that happened.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that was super interesting. I mean, I don't know how you go down or up a man for damn near 90 minutes and only get one goal. That just doesn't seem like one of the something that team would be able to do. I didn't peg Central Valley as holding on for 90 minutes down a man, but
Well, I mean that's kind of one of those things they've done all year, but I don't necessarily put that on Central Valley watching the game tonight. What I saw was even from the 10th minute, it looked like it was 11 on 11, and that is a bad sign both for the team that's down to 10 men and the team that's up a man, because it means that the play didn't really digress after they went down to 10 men, so they were playing like crap beforehand. But
right.
it also means that One Knox could not take advantage of it. There were a
Yeah.
lot of near misses, a lot of times in there, and just every time they seemed to get a shot on the ball, it was just a weak roller over to what North I think is the goalkeeper for Fuego or is he
Hmm.
the other one?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Yeah. It was North.
yeah, so every time they're just rolling it into North, and I'm like I don't know. That's what made it such a boring game. Like for the first 45 minutes, it looked like Knoxville was going to eventually score a goal. They looked a lot like what Union Omaha looked like last night. And then just, no, okay, well, now I can divert my attention. And of course, as soon as you do that, you know, it's all over. But it was, I would have to say it's a game that I expected from two of the bottom of the table teams.
Yep. And I mean too, you miss a penalty too, that hurts. I mean, if you sent the
I,
guy the wrong way and you just missed.
I have so I know he knew that he'd sent the guy the wrong way, and he's just like, "Oh, I'll pass this into the corner of the post right there," and he just missed the pass, which again was pretty standard for the night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And Jimmy, according to League One, Jimmy Villalobos should be very disappointed.
I mean, he should
yes,
be.
yes, he should.
Tim, I'll have to send you that image here really quick because I
Okay,
found it in the game feed. Here,
yeah,
I mean, it's just I can't believe that they actually put this into the stream or
yeah,
into the commentary on the match. Send. But yeah, it's funny.
yeah. No, it was. I mean, it was soccer, and it was something to watch, and one of the things I noticed too, and I hate the camera angles for this, is it's you don't get a sense of exactly how many fans are at Fresno.
Hmm.
And it's the same.
Yeah,
It's the same with almost any of them, right? You get at Warner Park, you get the what looks like the baseball stadium, right? The majority of the seating there, and it looks empty because it's designed to be filled by baseball fans. But you're not seeing everybody that's on the berm immediately underneath that camera. And there were a couple of good shots last night that we got some pictures of that just showed like that berm is also packed.
Hmm.
It doesn't look like 2,500. I think is what the attendance was, but they're there, and you can hear them. that is the good thing is you can hear them underneath that camera. You just can't see them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at the match report from One Knox in Central Valley right now, and they had an attendance of 950. So,
Right.
um,
And I get the problems they have in Fresno, and it's an 85-degree night, and your team's not playing that well. But you look at it, and it looked like it was maybe 100, maybe 100 on the inline, and that was
yeah,
it. More trees in attendance than fans, and
probably,
Hmm.
right.
yeah,
So that is one of the disappointing things that I see is that really the fans are not showcased, and no, you're not going to have 22,000 show up to see Fuego versus Knox, but you're
yeah.
still going to get a good sense that there is support behind these teams, and that's probably the thing I think the league misses out on the most with their cameras is there are people there and they're cheering and they're supporting and they're doing everything they can.
Yeah. I think if
Hmm.
people see that there are, a lot of people in attendance, they'll be more likely to go.
You know,
But yeah, I think they just got to plan out the broadcast angles a little better. And maybe it's just an issue with the way that the stadium is laid out. I don't know.
Yeah, well, some of them, like I could imagine maybe in Warner you could hit from the press box, or you could have a camera angle from up there. I mean, they have multiple camera angles for the baseball. You have the center field camera, you've got the press box camera. It's just whatever ESPN has license to use, I'm sure, and whatever they have the personnel to use. Like
Yeah.
that, I don't think that the stadiums are laid out that poorly, with the exception of maybe if you play on a high school field or something like that. But it's I think it definitely is a missed opportunity and something that as the league grows, I would like to see them try to do a little bit more often is get a couple of different camera angles. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. And with those camera angles comes more opportunities to catch field conditions, which Tim, you talked to me
yes,
about.
yes. So I sent a couple of pictures, and I don't want to do it because God love them, the Warner Park grounds crew. They do amazing work for what they have to do, transferring this thing from a baseball field to a football pitch with 48 hours notice, really.
Yeah.
But there were times where I couldn't tell where the lines for the box were because there were sand lines that you could see on the pitch. You could see where the pitcher's mound is, and I think that affected the defense definitely in the second half. It affected our offense. Trying to shoot down there and getting those goals and everything else, but I think some of that just it's a shame. And it's one of those that I don't know if this is League One. I don't know if that pitch is considered playable last night.
Were
Hmm.
there players like slipping?
You saw a lot of slipping out there,
There's quite a bit.
and I mean I say that, and then the only Bujo ever to score a bicycle kick, it happened down at that end, and like he made it look like that was he had all the balance and all everything else. But yeah, it was one of those type field conditions where you almost glad that there wasn't an additional camera angle because you didn't want to show it off. And it's early season, and I understand that the pitch and everything else hasn't really taken yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, man, it was one of those that just it makes you'll yearn for the day that we have our own stadium, and that we don't have to deal with something like that. I think. And really, it's kind of that way league wide. If you look at Fresno, not nearly as bad,
Right.
but you're
Yeah.
seeing already
Believe that.
scorch marks on the pitch because of the hot summers and the water conditions that they have out there. And we know that you're more likely to get injured on turf. So, like I said, the field conditions are not they're unique to each park, but they are all playing a part. I think in some of the stuff that we see in League One, for better or for worse.
And to kind of highlight some stuff here, one of the big reasons we decided to, offer to come onto the show tonight is because you had the chance to interview Pedro Dolabella.
Oh, I did. That was an amazing interview, and then he goes and gets an assist that was topped
Yeah.
by the actual score. Goal of the year. No, yeah, Pedro. What I did was really I didn't want to look at it just from a player's perspective, because he's done a lot of interviews. He's done a lot of things where he's going through and he's saying, he came from Brazil. He came up through the Sao Paulo Academy. Went through Pennington School where Ethan Van Decker actually preceded him by a couple of years. he's got this journey that you can chart out through there, through Marshall, through Rochester, and the unfortunate occurrences there. But what you don't get is the how he takes the game as a kid that was a supporter, that his family really like encouraged because the entire country supports a team of some sort. You don't get that joy and everything else that he really gets as a fan, and you don't get his perspective as a player on what it's like playing there. Through the interview, I think the 22,000 we had at St. Louis, I think that was the largest crowd he'd ever played in front of, and just how that affects him, but at the same time, how he connects with the fans because he starts out as one, and a lot of these players start out as one, but we don't focus on them as fans. We focus on just what's their talent, what are their ball skills, how did it feel to do this, how did it feel to do that, and so there are still a couple of questions like that in there. But really, I wanted it to be off of the how does he feed off the crowd, and what's that joy that sparked the game in him, and it really came down to his family and his community, which is what being a supporter and being a fan is all about of these teams is finding a community, finding something that you can feel like you belong to, and then just giving whatever you have to give to that club, whether it's I can go out and see a match every now and then, or it's I'm going to be making all these road trips and I'm going to do everything. I'm going to be at every kick of the ball. So that's really what I was fascinated with him. He's an incredible young man, incredibly intelligent, and really good student of the game. But he really connects with those fans, and he really understands what it's like to have that. And I actually shouted out the Parliament. He told me he could hear all 30 of them against 22,000. We were at a 700-1 deficit, and he scored that goal, and he said, I heard every single one of those voices.
That's cool.
So yeah, shout out to the Parliament on that one. But yeah, so the support matters, and the support means something, and that's really what I'm trying to do with this series and some of the other projects I've going is kind of talk about the nature of support and what it means to the players and how they feed off of it, but also just what it means to be a supporter in general.
Brian, did you hear that attention to detail, man? He did his
Oh yeah.
research before that interview.
Oh yeah. I mean, does that really shock us though? I mean,
Not at all.
just being in the stream and listening to Tim and stuff like that, we already knew he was going to be putting out good stuff. So
Yeah. And Tim has been he's had this project in mind for a bit now, and he's been working hard behind the scenes to make it happen, and to finally see it taken off, especially with an interview with Pedro Dolabella. I mean,
Yeah.
it's only going to get better from here. And
Yes.
when just listening to Tim right there, I mean, the attention to detail, I mean, he you can tell that he cares about what he's doing and stuff like that. And with the future projects he's going to be releasing here soon, man, it's going to be some cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get one in the run up to the World Cup that I think people are going to be very interested in, to the Women's World Cup here, and then obviously that'll carry forward, and as we look to hopefully get the Women's World Cup in the United States 4 years from now, and as we go in through the Men's World Cup here in 26. So keep an eye out on that. Definitely, I still got to figure out a couple logistics pieces, but I think it's going to be an interesting look at the leagues themselves and kind of what you can expect coming out of the league, and again, all of it about what does it mean to be a supporter? What does it really give to the team? What can you take out of being a supporter? Accepting the the toxic mess that can be supportership sometimes, and the rivalries. At the end of the day, it's still a sense of community, and it's still a sense of fandom. Even to the extent in the Pedro interview, we talked about the political problems in Brazil, very similar to what we have here in America now, except you see protests and riots there more on a daily basis, and yet when the Brazilian men's national team gets out on the pitch, nobody cares. It's all about for those 90 minutes, it's all about what they're doing on the pitch, and they find a sense of unity. Even when, as soon as that is over, they're going to go right back to having a sense of division, but at least it's something that connects, and that's really what the heart of supportership is, and what I want to explore through a couple of the projects that we've got going on here soon.
Yeah, and you're not limiting your material to only League One. I mean, you're branching out to, like you said, you're going to be doing some women's soccer.
Yep.
You're going to be exploring international stuff. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's awesome to see that you've broadened your horizons to cover that much material, and you have that much to select from.
And that was the point of picking Pedro. First off, he's local, and it's easier for me to reach out to somebody local. But he's young enough to where you still see that joy, you still see that energy and everything else. But he grew up in Brazil, and that perspective of we all know Brazilians are passionate and crazy about their football or soccer, but what does it actually translate to, and how does that come out, and what does he like about this game, and what does he like about the Brazilian game? So I intentionally wanted to get away from just the American perspective, because we do it so differently here, and in some ways that's good, but in a lot of ways it's just you don't quite capture what the people's game is supposed to be about.
Yeah. Yep. That's an interesting perspective too. I like it.
Yeah,
So
and we got Alex in the live chat. I missed a little bit of some of the live chat, but Alex saying that this is good stuff. Going to be listening to the interview tomorrow, and thanks for amplifying this. But and of course, I mean, we always want to get all of our fellow content creators, get you guys shouted out, and get you the recognition you guys deserve. Because I'm sure, Tim, all your stuff I'm sure is going to be great. Alex, your stuff is great. So just part of our jobs here is making sure we get everybody in, because speaking for myself, I want to get as much content as I can. I got 8 hours a day where I listen to podcasts straight. So the more people putting podcasts out, the better for me too. So
same here. When I really need to buckle down and focus, I'll throw on a couple of the Liverpool podcasts, or I'll throw you guys on, or Walking 90, or Who Gives a Hoot, and we'll take a listen as you're doing the monotonous thing. I do courseware development and syllabus writing for a living, so that definitely it's one of those plug it in and kind of let your mind go. And I don't know how many times I've had to revise something because I start going off about whatever happened in the soccer league this week instead of the actual instruction I'm supposed to be going. It's minor. It's something that it's definitely worth that occasional mess up to listen to the stuff. And by the way, one of the reasons I'm glad to come on tonight too is that a lot of this would not have been possible without you, Brian and Rich, and of course the guys over at Who Gives a Hoot. You guys have really shown that you can open this up, and you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of like the studio. You just speak from the heart. Be passionate. Do your best, and it'll come out and it'll work wonders. And so kind of for you guys, given a little introverted penguin that shove that they need to actually get out there and display some stuff. I can't thank you guys enough, and the same for Luke and Ryan and the guys over at Who Gives a Hoot.
Thank you very much, man. We appreciate that.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Ranting Blue Penguin Media. You can actually look it up online, rbpenguinmedia.com. And then should be at Ranting Blue Penguin on YouTube. You'll be able to find any of the interviews there. If you go to the website, though, you will see there'll be links, and there are companion articles on the website. I did a little bit of my impressions of the Pedro Dolabella interview. There's a couple of pieces about supporter philosophy, how I became a Liverpool supporter of all things, why I'm not a Manchester United supporter. And that is Patrick Stewart's doing. If you want to know about that, you can read that. It's very petty, which is par for the course for the Liverpool Manchester derby. So,
Yep.
But yeah, any of the things that I put out, you'll definitely see there first. And as soon as I can get it in podcast format, I'll put it out on podcast, and you'll be able to get as much of it as you want.
And you're not on Twitter, but you are on Mastodon.
I am not on Twitter. I'm sadly more and more rethinking that I might end up having to go that route. But I have some reservations about the ownership group, not just Elon.
Yeah.
But all of that aside, yes, I am on Mastodon. It should RB Penguin Media. You're going to see a theme there. RB Penguin Media is what I am on Mastodon. If you find me there. I'm also on Instagram. I'll see there. I was going to be on Facebook, but I haven't posted a single thing, and somehow I've violated the community standards. So, so we won't be there, but absolutely there. And then if Twitter becomes a thing again, if I can swallow all of the vinegar that I have over how the Twitter thing's gone down, I'll definitely announce my presence back there. But but pretty much it's going to be there in the website. Yeah,
Well, in the meantime, I'll certainly be sharing your stuff on Twitter
Oh yeah,
please,
to make sure
please,
that
and thank you.
everyone is out there taking advantage of that opportunity.
definitely.
It is fully appreciated, guys. Like I said, I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So I absolutely appreciate any assistance, and anyone else that's out there listening, please, I accept feedback as well. So every little thing that I did wrong in the Pedro de la Bella interview that I've been thinking about for the last 48 hours, uh, because we do that. Yeah, any constructive feedback. I'll take negative feedback too, but I'll definitely read it a little closer if there's some constructive, because it's a community, and we got to help each other out. We gotta do what we can to prop each other up, and that's how this sport is really going to take off, especially League One, where a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing is supporter driven, and that actually is not a bad thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And speaking of Dolabella, I mean, looking at the match from last night, he had a really good performance for the Owls.
he had an amazing performance, and I believe it was his first full 90 that he's had for us.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
And we talked. I talked to a couple of people on the berm while we were out there, and they were expressing why he hadn't gotten more minutes. And the only thing I can think of is there's a little bit of seniority going on there. I'm sure you're not going to tell one of the highest goal scorers in USLC that he's not gonna see the pitch in the first little bit. Noe Meza has established himself at the club. You're not going to tell him that he's not going to see the pitch. And where they played Pedro last night to start was kind of up front, supplementing all of that type of stuff. He played less of a midfielder at times, more of an actual forward.
Mhm.
So, like, there's not a lot of room to get him in there and get those minutes. But when he got those minutes, I think he showed that he deserves them to find him some room and figure out where he can be. When we made the subs later on in the evening, you saw him go back into a more of a natural midfield possession. But no, I think he is going to be an extremely valuable asset. And I think as much as it stinks why he's here, for that one reason alone, I'm happy that he's not in Rochester this year.
Yeah, yeah. And to see his scrappy goal in St. Louis, man, I mean,
Yeah.
he made something out of nothing.
He did, and we were talking about that a little bit too. He said that that's what he loves about the Brazilian style of play too, is that you just you dance around. He
Yeah,
prefers that. He said he'll watch videos for hours just watching people with the ball at their feet, as opposed to the American style where you're shielding off the ball and you're being a little bit more physical and everything else. Just knock two people down and then just beat the keeper at his near post. And I told him I didn't even know it went in until they started
yeah,
celebrating. I thought it hit the side netting and went behind. That tight of an angle though, and he's just like, yeah, that's what I love doing, and that's what I love seeing is that style of football. So
man. Yeah,
I mean, it's true. It's good. I mean, it's good to watch. It's fun to watch too. And something like that. I mean, just the drive and desire to still get in there and pick up that goal when you know your team's probably not winning that match.
I,
So you just can't state enough how big that is on a team.
oh, that is what I saw out of, and what I love about Union Omaha is that at no point did they get down. They knew they weren't coming out of there with a win, but at no point did they stop fighting. And when Pedro came on, he kind of drove that from the front. And I'm seeing that a lot with teams this year. It's one of the good things about League One in general, and even the Central Valley going down to 10 minute night. They never gave up. They kept taking their chances, and they had a lot of dangerous chances where they could have turned that around. You saw that at Greenville. That they went 2-0 down through some poor penalty stuff, and I'm sure you guys will get into this later, but they never quit. They ended up getting that goal, at least one goal back. Was too little, too late. But you're not seeing quit in any of these teams in League One this
yeah,
year, and it just on the biggest stage, Pedro kind of showed that. But I think that's a mentality you can see across the league this year, and it's what makes it such a fun league is that there is no 3-goal lead that is going to be safe.
yeah.
Right.
And I mean, you kind of saw that with Chattanooga and Lexington too, because Lexington had was like pedal to the metal the entire match. And then Chattanooga, I mean, well, it was like the last 15 minutes when they scored
Yeah.
those 2 goals or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
All their
And
goals were in a few
after
minutes.
going down late, Lexington scored that goal. And it was a beautiful goal that went in late, and you're just sitting there thinking, okay, pack the box, see this out, and then next thing you know, Chat's put 3 past you, and it's like, what just happened?
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, Kim
yeah,
scored in the 78th minute for Lexington.
Yeah.
Cardona scores in the 80th minute. Um, Vanessa scores in the 82nd minute, and then they get the last one, the 90 plus 6. Like just
wow.
an onslaught of shots too. And I mean they scored 3 goals with 6 shots on target.
Yeah.
So and 9 total shots. It's insane. Like this was definitely one of those matches that I really need to go back and rewatch. I got to rewatch all of them except for tonight's Fuego and Knoxville and Omaha's match because I just didn't get a chance to see him yet. But
And
I
speaking
have
of
heard of some of the stuff.
shot map, I saw the shot map from that Brandon posted on Twitter over at USL League One Review, and it was between Richmond and Tormenta. Richmond was just I mean, hammering Tormenta with shots. If you get a chance to see that shot map, it is crazy how busy Pablo Hara was that night.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check and
Tormenta
see
took
it.
20 shots.
Mm.
20 shots, only 2 on target.
And
Whereas
one of those went
Richmond,
in, right? One of those 2 on target was the one that went in, right?
Yeah,
That
Kingsburg
wasn't an own
Giants.
goal. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
Kingsburg Giants scored in the 82nd on that one.
Yeah. And see, there's another one. You're down like that. You've been pounded with shots the whole night, and you find a way to come back and at least throw one up on the board, so you ruin the clean sheet.
Mm-hmm.
oh, I
But
had it backwards. I thought Richmond was uh, had the onslaught on Tormenta. It was the other way around.
It was Tormenta on Richmond, and no, yeah, Richmond had 4 shots on target, and 3 of them went in.
Yeah.
And with only 39% of the possession.
so not a good night for their keeper. Reasonable night for their defense, just not a good night for their keeper. But, and then
Yeah, so Akira Fitzgerald, he obviously played 90 minutes. He finished, and he only had 1 save.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, Tormenta was firing on all cylinders, but they just couldn't get anything on goal.
Mm-hmm.
So he was busy, but he wasn't busy.
That'll happen in this league, man. I mean, it's still Division 3, so at the end of the day, you're gonna get matches like this for every team. At least once a year, your team's gonna have that same issue.
And a former great man once said the hardest thing to do is put the ball in the net, right? Score goals in this league.
Yeah.
Somebody we used to know.
And I think last season, within just like 2 weeks of each other, we had those blowouts where it was like 5-0, 5-1 or something like that. And yeah, so I mean, there was weeks where there's those freak, outliers, and then there's these weeks where, yeah, just nothing's going in.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the league is now, we're on notice. Terzaghi broke his duck, and he's off the mark now. It was a beautiful free kick. If you watch the highlights of it, you can see it. But yeah, so he's started his run, and everyone else beware. The golden poop chase is truly on now.
Yeah. Ooh, now that you mentioned that, I want to go see what the boot race is looking like right now.
We got Menzigan's at 5 after the missed penalty, the saved penalty, and then the second penalty that they got on Greenville. So he's our leader right now.
Oh, and then Mesa Pilato and Corey. Ooh, that's cool. They're tied for second.
Yeah.
Rafa, man, he's had like 5 goals in 6 matches. That dude is insane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were saying that last year.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of the year when he was subbing on and scoring goals. Like, if this dude gets regular time, he's going to score a lot of goals.
Yeah. And if he gets the support like he does with North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, it's working out perfectly for him.
Yeah.
I think his success, too, is a testament to exactly what North Carolina was trying to build and trying to do there. Him coming in as a veteran presence and then, slowly integrating their academy players, integrating their young players. Like he's there to receive all of that stuff and help them develop and grow. And you're watching the fruits of their labor this year. I'm surprised that they are where they're at as far as when the season started. But as you watch what they've done, it is no surprise that they're there. It is not a fluke. They are a real team.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Alex jumping into the chat on YouTube. Big match coming up Friday between Richmond Kickers and Union Omaha. That's
Mhm.
going to be a good one.
Friday night match.
Friday
That
night.
that one's in with Richmond, right? So we have to deal with not seeing their numbers again, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I think Alex was even mentioning that. He said earlier tonight, he said, it's nice in Richmond that our camera stand is opposite of the crowd.
Yes.
Tormenta and Chattanooga are like that too. Definitely gives the impression that it's the place to be if people are in the stands. So, um, yeah, I think Richmond, they have it on the side of the stadium where you can see everybody in the stands because they force the fans on the one side of the field and they have
Yeah.
the camera on the other.
And you can do that when you've got a stadium that's got both sides that are aligned with the bleachers. You get a little bit of that in Madison because you got the on the left you've got the beer deck
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the concession stand, and on the right you've got the supporter section and the bleachers
Yeah.
in there. So you do get a little bit, but it's still a lot of these areas you're just not seeing the crowd. You're hearing them,
Yeah.
but you're not seeing the crowd. You're not seeing that. No, this is worth going to. People are getting out there. You just see the attendance numbers that depending on your math, may or may not be truly accurate to what was there.
Mhm.
But nothing beats the camera angle and showing that no, there are people out there. Even if it was do an intro where you've got a mobile camera and you're showing the tailgates and you're showing the guys walking in or something like that. Even something like that, I think would start to pick up some of the stuff that they do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hopefully, um, the stadium is sold out Friday. That'd be awesome
Yeah.
to see Richmond packed in like that again.
Not for us, it wouldn't be, but I mean, it would be
Yeah.
great for the league, great for the team. I don't think it would be good for us. I am very worried about that game. I think it has the potential to be a very high scoring game.
Yeah. If you look at the League
Yeah.
One standings right now, Omaha and Union Omaha and Richmond are 4 and 5. They had to go to the third tiebreaker in order to separate those two in the standings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't think I honestly think we'll see a really high attendance total for Richmond. I mean,
Yeah.
Richmond this year is averaging 5,500 people. So, um, I haven't looked to see what the weather's going to be like, but I know what the weather here is going to be like around that time. So I'm assuming it's going to be just as nice in Richmond as it is here, if not a little bit nicer. So, um,
Yeah.
there'll be
Oh,
there'll be a ton of people.
looks like around kickoff's going to be around 64.
A little bit chilly.
Partly cloudy. Let me look at the wind. Oh, it's going to be low winds, like 2 miles an hour. So,
Oh, that's perfect
and
then.
no chance. I mean, 1% chance of precipitation. So, yeah, it's going to be a gorgeous night.
Yeah. Yeah. That stadium's going to be there, and I hope we can deal with the crowd and the pressure and everything else. They're going to bring it. They
Mhm.
always bring it, and they're on a run now. They've got a little bit of scoring, they have a little bit of confidence. Like this is going to be a tough match for this Omaha squad, especially uh, since we are vulnerable. We're not used to being vulnerable on defense. We are vulnerable on defense, and so we may outshoot them, but it's going to be a high scoring match if we outshoot them.
I was chatting with a Union Omaha player earlier this season, and he told me a story about how the team was at City Stadium. Oh, I think it was last season. And Union Omaha was warming up, and there were some fans that were in the corner. And usually, he said, usually they can, sort of tune out, some of the chatter that's coming on, coming into the field from the fans and everything. But he was saying for some reason that night, he just couldn't tune that small group of fans during warmups out of his head. And he kept thinking to himself, man, I just wish they would shut the fuck up.
And that's how you know your supporters are doing their job.
Yeah.
That's the true 12th man. I remember. I remember Richmond coming to Werner Park. I think it was our first year, and Akira was there, and we were just giving him all manner of crap for that stupid mustache he has over his head, over his like he just looked like he just got a little dirt up there, and somehow he's got this mustache right, and we're just giving him all sorts of crap, and they ended up winning that 1-0. He kept a clean sheet, had a bunch of good saves, and he just turned around to the berm and did kind of this number on his mustache and walked off. And it's like, well, at least he hurt us. So
Yeah.
Alex said that group of fans that I was talking about is the River City Red Army corner. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's great when you can get in their head. It's terrible when it doesn't work and they throw it right back at you. So
Yep. Yep. Um, I was there was another Union Omaha player I was chatting with, and he said that since Spanish is his primary language, sometimes when they go to other stadiums, when people are saying stuff in English, he can he has an easier time tuning that out. But when it's in Spanish, it comes through a whole lot clearer, and so that it gets into his head too.
yeah, my wife used to get annoyed with that too. I have a couple other foreign languages in my repertoire, and every time I hear one of those, I key in, and she's like, "You're doing it again, aren't you?" So, I mean, when you get in that, it's something here is different. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to start learning Spanish or Italian or German or something to get in their heads. German, you could be complimenting them, and it's going to sound like you're angry as you've ever been at them. So
Yep. Yep.
Ugh.
It reminds me of that answer that Dominic Castiato had in one of his first interviews after he was announced as head coach, and they were saying, "Well, Italian, so on the sideline, are you going to be using Italian to yell at the refs?" And he said, "I'll use whatever language they don't speak."
fair play to him.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't seen that sitting behind the bench twice this season. Now he's cursing up a storm in English. So
In proper English at that
proper
too.
English,
proper.
yeah.
Yeah.
They know they take swearing to a whole new level. So
Oh
Tim, were
man.
you in the press box last night?
I was not. And most of the times I won't be. When I go to Werner, I take my daughter. It's daddy daughter bonding time.
Yeah.
She loves the carousel and everything else over at Warner. So it's a chance for mom to kind of get a break, and so I take my daughter. But it is something I want to get up there. I want to visit. I want to see kind of what it looks like. Get a couple of pictures from up there at some point. But I mean, really, you don't get that supporter sense of the game unless you're down there with the supporters, and that's so.
Mhm.
And again, the family bit, have to give her earmuffs every now and then. God bless the Union Army or UA local now 119. God bless the burn, but you don't get a sense of what it's actually like unless you're out there.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you're looking to get photos, talk to Deidre at the club, and she can tell you, good places to be and give you tips on getting a good picture.
I'm just trying to learn it. I resisted photography for a majority of my life, and so now
Yeah.
I'm just now getting into it. So last night was really just kind of a test run, but absolutely, I'll reach out and do those things because you can get some amazing pictures, especially as the sun's setting over Warner. When it gets to that time of the year, it's going to be beautiful, and it's a great day to be out. Yesterday, and yeah, even when the wind started picking up, it was still like it's no better place to be tonight than here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah. What other matches caught your eye this week, Tim?
Uh, really, are you talking about us going into or what we just witnessed this week?
Oh, if you want to jump ahead to week 8, we can certainly do that.
Oh no! I'm intruding on your agenda here. This is
No,
I'm the guest here, so
That,
no,
that's
no, we
that's the
can.
good thing about these weekend shows like this. We don't have an agenda. We just
Yeah.
no.
freeform it. So
The one that really stood out to me this week, I think, was, and I didn't get to watch it. I'm only going off at some of the highlights and some of the scoreline was Madison Charlotte.
Yeah.
Here we've got two teams that we joke about drama, but Madison, like that seemed to be all they're doing is drawing, and I know I asked you guys the question last week: how many points is gonna get into the playoffs, and we kind of landed somewhere in that 40 to 45 range.
Mhm.
It's going to be your six. Well, you can't get that drawing, but you can ruin a lot of people's day by just drawing. And so that one, and how Charlotte would handle what Madison does, and the fact that they're trying to run away with everything. Now they're sitting on 13 points, right? I think they're one of the last, if not the last, undefeated team in the league. So I was extremely interested in how that was going to turn out, and very disappointed that it was a nil-nil draw.
Yeah.
Right?
Charlotte and Madison are still the only
Yeah.
clubs that are undefeated.
Yeah, I knew Madison had drawn a lot. I couldn't remember if they'd actually gone on the losing end of one, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's one of those where, like, Charlotte over the course of the season so far, the early season has been the better team, but Madison is just going to frustrate the hell out of you,
Yeah.
and they're going to grind the game, and maybe they'll get a lucky goal at the end, maybe they won't. Um, but yeah, it was just it was one of those pieces that, like, wow, what do you do with that? And
So we asked the guys at Linners and Woozers on Friday
mhm,
who they thought was going to be the last remaining undefeated club, and I think it was Nick said Charlotte. I think Rico agreed with him on that one too.
yeah,
Uh, do you think it's going to be Charlotte?
uh, I think it depends. I think Charlotte. I think Charlotte's going to be vulnerable to a loss because they're going to go after the win, right?
Mhm.
Where Madison so far has been content to, hey, we're just going to see out the 90 and see what we can grab. So, like, if it's not Charlotte, that's going to be the only reason is you're going to see more pressing, more attacking, and more opening themselves up, trying to get that win. With Madison, at least in the early stages, being content to just sit back and, hey, you know what, we can take a point and go with it.
I just looked at week 8, and we have 9 matches this week.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I mean, speaking towards, we're gonna find out really quick who is gonna be the last team because Charlotte plays Greenville on Wednesday, and also Wednesday night Madison plays One Knox.
I've got them staying undefeated. Since we're jumping ahead real quick, I've got them both staying undefeated against those teams. I
Both?
think,
Okay.
yeah, I think Greenville still has some injury concerns, and that
Yep.
that poor kid Gabo, that was probably the most disastrous debut that you could have as a 17-year-old coming on in defense, coming on to try to help the team and try to stretch everything out, and you give away 2 penalties and get a yellow card, and, like, that is just I felt bad for the kid during that whole thing. So yeah, I think Charlotte's going to take control because Greenville's still a little bit depleted and still trying to work through some of those issues. And Knox just has not shown me that they could break through Madison. I'm not going to say that Madison's going to win this outright, but Knox just, you're up for 90 minutes over Fuego, and you get a last gasp winner like that. That doesn't speak to something that can actually attack Madison and actually break them down. And especially, where are they? Oh, they are in Knoxville, so that'll play into their advantage as well. They don't have to deal with the Madison crowd, but I don't know. It's just there's something about Madison this year that you're not going to beat them. And so I expect this, even if it's a draw at Knoxville, I expect this to still have them as the undefeateds when we get out.
Yeah, the amount of hype there was behind One Knox before the season started with all their signings and everything. Um, it's it's weird how it's turned out.
Yeah.
I did not expect them to be performing at this level, especially
Well,
this
yeah.
far. We're not even very far in the season, but I'm still saying this far into the season.
Well, I will paraphrase one of the greatest managers on the planet, one Jurgen Klopp, who in reference to Chelsea, right? Um, this is why you just don't go out and buy all of these players. You have to make a team. You have to make a club, and
Yeah.
and you see that with Chelsea right now, right? They went out and they bought all the Ferraris in the parking lot, and nobody knows how to drive them.
Mhm.
So I see that the same. Like, they made a lot of big splash signings in Knoxville. You're a young team. You're just coming up from League Two. You haven't quite got to the style of play yet, and you've got all of these disparate pieces that are still trying to figure out where does each one go and how do they interplay. So it doesn't surprise me. I think they'll pick it up. I think they will make a decent run. Whether or not they get into the playoffs, I don't know, but I think they'll make a decent run towards the middle and end of the season. But right now, they're trying to figure out who they are,
Yeah.
and kind of the same with Lexington. I just don't think the pressure has been on Lexington as much because they didn't make the big splash signings.
And I mean, to an extent, you're also seeing that with Chattanooga. I mean, so many of those players are NISA players. They're, Ziggy
Yeah.
was at a NISA club. So, not saying that NISA is worse than League One. It's just, you're moving to an entirely different league, and there's a different style of play. There's a different style of operations. So there's a lot of adjustments to be made there.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, that's what I expect out of next week is at least leading it off. I don't think we're going to be in any different of a situation where we're going to be, except that Charlotte's probably going to be 3 more points up. Sorry, Gio, I hate saying that, and Madison is at least going to be 1 more point, and frustrating the crap out of yet another team doing that whoop whoop thing they do at all the
Oh
quarters.
yeah. Oh Lord, yeah. Thanks again for that one, Kyle.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah. When he admit that, when he and Rob were on the show, I thought, oh my God, are you serious? You're the one responsible for that?
Whatever it takes, if you're getting inside the opponent's head, if you're getting inside the opponent's supporters' heads, you're doing your job as a supporter. So I got nothing but for respect for it because it pisses me off so much.
Yeah. I mean, this is gonna be a good week. I think last week, like I said, I still gotta go through and watch the majority of the matches. I gotta do that before we record again, but um, just looking over the standings and everything, there's nothing that really stands out too much. Um, Central Valley gonna Central Valley, Lexington still trying to find their way. Um, and I'm just going up the standings. So this Northern Colorado, I mean, you made it close in a match you probably shouldn't have been able to. That was a tale of two halves for Union Omaha. Um, Forward Madison, again, Tim couldn't say it any better than exactly how you put it. Greenville is still one of those teams you still don't know. There so many injuries, so many issues. So um, you're not going to be able to tell with them for quite a while. And then from there, I mean, it's just teams got to start taking care of business. I mean, obviously the top two, Carolina and Charlotte, are taking care of business. Tormenta with a little bit of a slip, but I think that really 3 to 7 range, it's insanely tight right now, and will continue to be insanely tight until the end of the season.
Well, I mean, really 3 to 10, because if you look
Yeah.
at Northern Colorado this year, they were in a playoff position prior to losing those,
Mhm.
and that was their first loss of the season, and now they're all the way they slid down to 10th just off of one loss. So
Yeah.
no, and that is one of the good things for Greenville, especially, is that you're not going to see a lot of separation. 1 and 2 may run off with it, but there's 6 playoff positions. Like there's a lot of time left over for people to right the ship. I don't know that teams like Central Valley are going to do it. I don't know that Lexington's going to do it, and for different reasons, right?
Mhm.
But like absolutely top to bottom, one good weekend could change somebody's fortunes, and next thing you know, they're in a playoff position. So
I mean, look at Greenville. They were in last place and they won both of their matches, what, in week 6? And they shot up to what, like
Mhm.
fourth place or something like
It
that?
was fourth place, and now they're all the way down at eighth.
Yeah. So I mean, Fort Madison and Northern Colorado do have a game in hand. So if you give them 3 points, sitting at 8 and 9 points, they're back in playoff position. So
yeah.
it changes your fortunes very quickly, just like Tim was saying.
So yeah, we'll see. The thing that stands out with Madison and Northern Colorado too is they're above that 1 point per game line.
Yep.
Greenville, just with the loss this last weekend, they just went back to that 1 point per game line. And again, we're looking at one and a half ish points per game that's going to get you in the playoffs. But if you're in striking distance of that, then you're still okay. Where
Yeah.
you got to worry is where you're looking at the Lexingtons and the Fuegos that have 2/3 of a point per game, and that's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And I said previously in chat with you guys, early points is late points. So dropping the points early, you will come to lament those later on, especially as everybody else is feeling out the league and what it's going to look like.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's super interesting. I hate the fact that we have two teams sitting on 7 matches played and two teams sitting on 4 matches played right now. Like that,
Yeah.
it's not ideal. It makes this job super difficult to try to do. Um, but it's just something we got to deal with, I suppose.
Yep.
Well, and you see that in some of the other leagues, though, where you've got, especially over in Europe, where you've got a league cup and you've got a national cup and you've got teams that are playing in continental tournaments and things like that. You'll see them get down 2 or 3 games in hand um, at any given point. It's just it's not half the league. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And Brian, you were just talking about how you have some sitting at 7, you have some sitting at 4.
mhm,
Charlotte has 7. They have 7 matches under their belt, and they play 2 this week, so they're going to be at 9 at the end of week 8.
yeah.
that could
Mm.
that could help them or hurt them late season.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to be in need of points playing these, which I don't foresee them ever going to be in need of points, but um, you play some of these matches early, you get them out of the way, and if something were to happen, and you could really use those 3 matches that you played early this season on the back half of the season. But it's League One. I mean, it's just something we got to deal with, and um, I mean they're
Well,
sitting pretty right now, so
the good news for Charlotte on that case is they're playing a depleted Greenville side now, and they're playing a Lexington side as the next match. So if you win those two
Oh
games, you
man.
don't need those points later. Like
Yeah.
they are set up to kind of, I don't want to say they're going to run away and hide with this, but they're set up to where they should be able to feel pretty comfortable come midseason that they're going to be in one of the top playoff positions, likely hosting
mhm.
at one of the playoff games, if not the semifinals. So
Yeah, and since North Carolina lost their first match, I think it was to Charlotte, they've won 4 of their last 5,
Yes, they have.
whereas Charlotte has won 2, but they drew the other 3
it,
of
it
them.
was it was a draw. The Charlotte North Carolina game was a draw.
Oh, it was a draw? Okay.
Yeah, they lost the first game to Tormenta, 1-0 to Tormenta
That's what I
in
was
in
thinking.
North
Yeah, I
Carolina.
I knew that North Carolina lost their first one.
Yep. But I mean, again, they pulled it together and they managed to pull a draw on the team that you know not necessarily in the standings because of tie breaks, but the team that actually is in the top of the table there,
Hmm.
right? As far as if you go off all of that,
Mhm.
the bit with North Carolina, like just they what they have done this season um, is amazing to me, and I think
Yeah.
they are doing it the right way with the academy program. With hey, we all made fun of them because they self relegated 2 years ago, and then last year if we had relegation, they would have been relegated to League Two, wooden spoon winners and stuff like that, and we all laughed and everything else, but. Now that you see trust the process, right now that you see what they've gone through with this, it's amazing. I
Yeah.
love what they're doing, and as much as I love pro rel, it is one of the advantages of relegation is that you can. I'm not going to say you're going to tank for a draft pick, right? Like you get in some leagues, but you actually can say we don't mind losing this game. I don't have to win every game because I'm getting these guys valuable minutes. I'm getting them the experience. They're playing with these veterans. So North Carolina is taking full advantage of the American style of the pyramid, and it's turning into a great product. They're going to be good and sustainable for years.
Yep.
Yeah. North Carolina and Tormenta.
Yeah,
Those are 2 that are going to be, I mean, they're setting themselves up for great success for years to come.
Well, yeah, and I mean we see that too, kind of with Lexington as well, with
And
their
Lexington, yeah.
their academy program that they're setting up. It's going to pay dividends, and I mean, all they have to do is just look at what North Carolina has been able to this season and
Hmm.
say, okay, I know we're on the right track, and you can sell that. I mean, that's a product that you can sell to your supporters. That hey, look at what NCFC has done. They built their program up, and look at them now. They look like world beaters most days.
yeah,
So stick with us for 2 years, and then we'll get you up there and give you a product that you can be really, really proud of. Not that they
Yeah.
can't be now, but a winning product.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's like I said, they're an example of how to do it, and to the supporters that stayed on board with them, good on you for staying on board with them because the process is working.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Totally agree.
Well, should we do just a preview of next week's matches?
Yeah,
Give
sure.
your thoughts. We already kind of did the first two on Wednesday,
Yeah.
so we can jump down to the Friday matches. Um, since we're all Union Omaha supporters, I'll leave that one for last. Chattanooga and Tormenta play at 6:30 on Friday night.
Yep.
That one to me, I can't I can't really go with anything with Chattanooga right now. They haven't been able to show a whole lot or show that they can put a full product on the field yet, and Tormenta has. And I mean, they're the defending champions, third in the table. I got to give it to Tormenta on this one. I think they're going to be able to take care of business.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
I, I'd like to believe you're right on that, but it's at Chat, right? Are we sitting at Chat? Or are we in Georgia?
That is at Chattanooga. Yep.
It is at Chattanooga, and again, that's one of those with the light show and everything else. If and when they score a goal, like it's just an annoying place to play.
Yeah.
It is Chattanooga, and we've seen them not quit. They might have their shooting boots back after the stuff there. Um, I'm not going to give it to Tormenta. I think we're going to get a draw out of this one, uh, and probably a relatively low scoring draw. But yeah, it's one of those like that. It's hard to go into Chattanooga and play.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yep.
no, and Tormenta is just they're inconsistent for me.
Yep.
Right? What a an inconsistent Richmond team tonight was able to find their footing against them. Um, we can discount Greenville because they're just Greenville's daddy, so discount that win, right? They just know how to beat Greenville. Sorry, Gio.
It's true.
That's gonna be my tagline for now on. From now on, sorry, Gio. But it's like, yeah, I get the feeling that this is going to be a draw. Um, and if Tormenta can walk out of there with a win, then that is going to be a statement that we can go into hostility and we can kind of finally put it together. I don't see either of them winning.
Fair.
I mean, you raised some fair points there. Yeah, playing at the Den. I mean, it's certainly no easy task. Um, I think Tormenta is definitely going to have their um, confidence on their side heading and into that one because even though they lost to Richmond, they still put in a heck of a showing, and they were able to generate some offense against Richmond. Now, Chattanooga's defense has been pretty stingy.
Yep.
They've been pretty organized, so I mean that'll be a fun matchup to watch. Tormenta's offense against Chattanooga's defense.
Yeah, and the worry I have too is based on defense and goalkeeper play for Tormenta. If you can get a shot on goal, you got a pretty good shot at doing it. The goalkeeping play, either through no fault of his own or what have you, defense gets him into good positions. But when you give up 3 goals on 4 shots on goal, that starts to ask some questions. So, and that's why I think Tormenta may get 1, may get 2. I think they're Chattanooga can get in there and they can do the thing. So we'll see. I still think it's going to be a draw, but would it surprise me if Tormenta won? No. I think it'd be like I said, the statement that they're back, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
This one, I even kind of struggle to bring this one up, but NCFC going to Central Valley Fuego at 9 o'clock. Interesting caveat is Central Valley Fuego has home matches for like the next month. So if they want to start moving up the table, they are really going to have to capitalize on this month of home matches. That being said, this is a very strong North Carolina team coming in, and if there was ever a get right game, this is definitely the one Central Valley should be shooting to send all their, pull all the stops and try to beat them because nobody's going to expect you to win. So I think it'll be a lot closer than a lot of people are going to think because of that reason. I think Central Valley is going to throw the kitchen sink at them and scare them early, but North Carolina I think is going to pull away late.
Central Valley has not scored at home yet. They've had 2 matches, both were shut out. They had a 2-0 loss to Union Omaha, and then they had a 1-0 loss, tonight to One Knox. I don't know if that. I think that streak's going to continue with North Carolina. I think they'll get shut out against North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that, and I think this is going to be another big night for Metzger. I think he's going to be able to get in there. The player that got sent off tonight, Dabo, which was the dumbest red card I think that you could possibly take. For those that didn't watch it, Knox is setting up for a corner, and just for whatever reason, I don't know what the Knoxville player said to him or what. He pops his head down and headbutts the dude in the chest, and give the kid an Oscar for the flop and the fall and everything else. But Dabo did headbutt him. There was contact made,
Yeah.
and consulting with the assistant, I saw the referee go there and she motioned for the headbutt. And out comes the straight red because you cannot do that. That's not within the laws of the game. So, so they're going to miss him for the next match because of a stupid bit of frustration. So having to rotate that midfielder and him being a key piece of that midfield, I think that's going to allow North Carolina's midfield to just kind of run through and do their thing. So, I'm not going to go as far as predict a hat trick or a brace, but I think you're going to see big things out of their midfield and Minskin. And I don't know that they're going to be able to mount a challenge. Although they did look dangerous on the counter tonight, I don't know if it's going to be enough against a good North Carolina team to break that shutout streak at home. So, absolutely, this is 3 points to North Carolina next week.
Was the headbutt similar to the 2006 Men's World Cup final with Zidane?
Uh, you could draw comparisons. Absolutely, you could.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know. They're jawing and sitting there and stuff like that, and I don't know what was said or why. But 10 minutes into a game, if you gotten that pissed off that you're going to headbutt a dude, like
Yeah.
you got to be smarter than that. So
Yeah.
no, I don't expect that's going to do them any favors, and I think you're going to see a very potent North Carolina offense on display in Fuego.
Yeah. Makes me so. I haven't. Like I said, I haven't watched the Union Omaha Northern Colorado match, but seeing Stefan Lukic get that red card so early in the match, it almost makes me think like he put in PTO for the night and it got refused, and so he's like, "All right, well, I'm going to head out on my own terms, anyways."
Yeah, no, it's possible. I don't know. Maybe he needed to go back and make hot chocolate and biscuits for the guys. Maybe the wind was getting to him or something. But to make that sliding challenge when you're already on a yellow, like I don't know, and maybe you can get away with it in a top tier league because your technique and your timing and everything else is right. But on a shorter field in Division III, man, just don't let him take the ball up the sideline, cover back, and well, to our benefit, he didn't listen. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's I think that's going to be a detractor for Northern Colorado this next week too. Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll speak to that point here too, Brian. I think you're going to bring up the Union Omaha match next.
Yeah, I did. I did also want to bring up Sean's in the chat here, and this, since we were just talking about Union Omaha and Northern Colorado, he asked, "Is Union Omaha scoring on Northern Colorado a turning of the tide, or will Northern Colorado continue to shut out USL One opponents?"
I think they'll continue to put in strong performances. I don't know that they'll continue shutting out. Let me their opponents.
Their next match is the 13th against One Knox.
Yeah, they can do it that night. I think they can do it that night.
In Knoxville again.
In Knoxville again, yep.
In Knoxville, yeah.
And then the match after that is Northern Colorado at Forward Madison.
Oh, and then we get the Fire and Ice after that. Yeah, they got some matches that are going to be fun to watch here coming up, but I think they can shut out one Knox. That Madison one, that's going to be a fun one to watch, though. That's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I don't think NOCO will continue to shut out opponents. I think they've been playing well. Their defense has been playing well, but small sample size and um, the fact that you're going to be playing a bunch of these matches again on the road, I don't see it happening for very much
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah, we're
Good
not
question,
playing
Sean. I
that
like it,
night.
though.
We're not playing that night, so absolutely watch that North Carolina Madison match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're not playing that weekend at all, so sit back, have a couple.
Ooh, that'll be nice.
Yep.
Take the weekend off.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's I could see them conceding, but no, it's they're gonna. I think they're gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
Right.
Or wait, no, but that was NOCO, not okay.
NOCO, yep.
Yeah, NOCO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that weekend we are playing. That's right, but we're not playing because it's a Thursday night NOCO
Mhm.
game. So yes, the Madison Northern Colorado game. Watch that one. I was looking
Yeah.
at North Carolina because we don't have enough acronyms in this league.
Right.
So
All right. Well, I think the last one that we got to talk about this upcoming week, is Union Omaha at Richmond Kickers. That is two teams, Omaha sitting at number 4 and Richmond on number 5. However many tiebreakers we got to get a hierarchy here. Two teams that I feel like have a similar kind of song and dance. You don't really know exactly what you're going to get out of either of them any given week, and this could be the game that turns around, or not even turns around somebody's season, but kind of cements the kind of team that they want to. Huge night in Richmond, and oof, I want to say Union Omaha gets it done, but Richmond is a insanely tough place to play.
Yeah.
And
And sorry, keep going.
no, I was just gonna say I think I'm gonna have to go with a draw on this one. I don't see either team having that breakthrough game, but I do believe the higher chance of having a breakthrough game is with Richmond because they're at home.
I say I don't know because Terzaghi, like I said, he's finally off the mark, and that might be a turning point for them. They are among the last in the league in goals actually scored. I think their top goal scorer now is Terzaghi, tied with one or two of the other members at one goal. Um, so I mean, the downside of that is that means the goal could come from anywhere.
Exactly.
The upside to that is that they aren't scoring. Even if they're putting them on frame, they're not actually getting them past the keeper. And I've got all the faith in the world in Nuhu when we need him, just as they've got all the faith in the world in Akira when he's needed. Um, I could see this being one of those where if it's a draw or if Richmond wins, Akira has saved them yet again. And so I expect probably a 2-1 to Omaha. But again, a draw would not surprise me, and an amazing stand on your head performance because we've got a lot of speed, we got a lot of attackers. I think we can put pressure on that Richmond defense, kind of the way that Tormenta did. It's just a matter of is it going to go in the net. So yeah, it'll be either a 2-1 Omaha victory or Akira is the man of the match yet again against Omaha.
Yeah, and Sean just posted in the chat. Both clubs, Brian, you said they have a similar song and dance. Well, they have a similar run of results too: a draw, win, loss, draw, win. And Tim, when you were talking about, how they're a committee of threats, they have 5 goals scored this season as a club. Each one of those goals was scored by one player. You have Gordon, Terzaghi, Suko, Belmar, and Ani.
Yeah,
So I
I
mean,
forgot about Ani. Yep.
Yeah, you even have their defenders getting up and getting into the mix.
Yeah, and
Um,
in fairness, three of those goals were in the last match where they finally get. But yes, each individual one, it was a different goal from a different part of the field, from a different play. And I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if that was an indictment of the goalkeeper or the defense in Tormenta. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the full match, but like if they've got their confidence, it can be fine. If not, if you're still going to be on that goal drought, again, you've got a brick wall named Akira Fitzgerald there. It's really easy to go after something when you know you've got him, just like it's easy for us to go after things when we know we've got Shido. So,
yeah,
yeah,
and to go a little even deeper here, they only have one goal that was unassisted, so they have four assisted goals, and each of those assists goes to one individual player. So, I mean, they're really spreading the wealth here.
yep. There can be no doubt that you have to watch every area of the pitch for them.
Yeah,
And we struggle with that at times, especially in the trying to pick up the new defensive formation. Um, like I said, we can score goals all day long, but we can also give up 2 goals to a 10-man team when we're 3 goals up. So
hmm
I say it's going to be an entertaining match, and I think, like I said, if you like to see goalkeeper play, you're going to see some excellent goalkeeper play.
oh,
That's going to keep it lower, um, but yeah, it's going to be a good match. If you got nothing better to do, like absolutely watch this match.
so a very big concern I have for this one. I know I spoke about the Union Omaha midfield on Friday night. I thought that was going to be, a crucial component to whether how the club was going to perform
Mm-hmm.
on Saturday night. For this one, my biggest concern is Union Omaha's back line. Um, we all know how Emiliano Terzaghi can get under the skin of defenders, and we've seen how Union Omaha's back line
Yep.
can kind of take the bait.
Yeah.
And so I don't want them to get into card trouble. I don't want them to get into foul trouble and all that kind of stuff. But Terzaghi knows how to push the buttons.
Yes, he does.
Mhm.
And we're looking here. I just pulled up the stats real quick. You got Lexington and Charlotte have the highest players with a card. You got Balogun with 4 for Lexington. Dunwell's got 4 for Charlotte. After that, you've got a plethora of dudes, and Palacios and Brewer are right there at 3 apiece. I actually commented to one of the fans after Junior got his card this weekend was, yep, that's the standard Junior Palacios yellow card. Um, but I don't think that put them in the trouble with the goals that they ended up getting in later. I don't think it affected their style of play. It probably should have because you're on a yellow. But yeah, no, it is pretty standard which one of us is going to get the yellow, as quite removed from previous years, where Dalton really didn't take a lot of yellows unless he absolutely had to. And you're looking at Ryan Jiva is playing up; he's not taking a lot of yellows. Dami,
Verity didn't get a whole
yeah,
lot.
Verity didn't get a lot. Dami knew how
Adair
to
didn't
play
get,
well.
yeah,
Nope. So your back line did not feel the need to get a lot of those cards, but they also were playing in a better defensive position
yeah.
a lot more of the time. So, I mean, I love it. I love the physicality. I love he's willing to get out there. Just please, please, please don't actually take a second yellow against Terzaghi because he's pissed you off that day.
Yeah. I mean, even going back to Jay Kroll, I mean, he was
Yeah,
a clean player. Osumano, I mean, he took cards every once in a while,
Jake
but
who?
he wasn't. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Same with the law, right?
Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's my biggest concern in this one.
Mhm.
Um, I I'm still confident that it's going to be, a good one. I'm just that's what concerns me.
Well, I mean, the good news is we've got the rotation for the back line, though. If that
Yeah.
does become an issue, we've got Dion sometimes coming off the bench.
Mhm.
Connor can slide into the back. I've been a little nervy with him in the back this year, but he can slide in to supplement when he needs to. Like there's a lot of good stuff for rotation wise. Just rotation doesn't matter when you're down to 10, so you
Yeah.
got to be careful there. But if he does get in card trouble, and we're sitting there looking about the 55th, 60th minute. There's room to move him out and still not lose as much.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm trying to look up something else here. I want to make sure that fouls conceded. Yeah. Yep. There's that. That one's gonna be interesting. As far as a result, oh man, I don't know that I'm ready to commit to one just yet. But if I had to say something, I might go with a draw on that one, like a 1-1 draw. Looking at Fitzgerald on one end and Nuhu on the other. I mean, yeah, Tim, you already mentioned the quality goalkeeping. That could easily be the decider in this one as well.
I fully expect it to be, and there's a hopeful 2-1 on my side because Fitzgerald has frustrated us time and time again.
Yeah.
Like I love him as a goalkeeper. I hate him as having to play against him. And why aren't you gone out of this league? Like you
Yeah.
deserve so much better
Yeah.
than League One for your talent, but no, you just keep coming back here to piss us all off.
Yep.
And what's the nickname he gave himself? Cowboy Ninja or something like that?
You can't name yourself.
No.
Oh, but yeah, that'll be an entertaining match, and if it's probably the match of the weekend to watch. I know Charlotte Torment is going to be really interesting because they're two teams trying to hit their footing, but yeah, I think I'd pick our match, completely biased as I am, as probably the more interesting one of that night.
So leading up to the weekend matches, yeah, I might side with you on that one. As far as like the Saturday ones, I'm going to lean into the North Carolina Forward Madison one.
Yes, full agree.
All the way out on May 13th, though. So we're still
Yep.
a week out from that.
Yep.
Those ones, but that'll be a good.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to
Oh,
go
not
into
really?
week 9.
Yep. We
Oh,
just
no
got
way.
we just got Wednesday and Friday this week. No Saturday matches.
I was including the 4 on the 13th into week 8. Oh,
Oh.
good.
Nope,
That
as
makes
much
me
as I would
happy.
love that, some matches on Saturday too. We only got Wednesday and Friday this.
Yep.
Oh, that makes me happy. Okay, good. Oh, geez. Nice. Well, Tim, we usually ask for people to come on for an hour, and here you are almost an hour and a half. So we appreciate you
Ain't no
taking the
worries.
time to hang out with us,
When,
man.
when my daughter falls asleep, she is out asleep,
Yeah,
so I get a little bit of time. And I
nice.
absolutely love being here. But at the risk of dragging you guys longer, I wanted to ask one thing of you guys and what your opinion was on coming out. If you guys saw the news that came out of North Carolina today concerning Urban Para and what his absence has been for the season so far.
So I did see the video posted by Northern Colorado earlier today, and it's certainly an emotional one.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. And um, I had heard rumors about what was keeping him off the field. I never spoke to it because it's not my place to reveal any of his health information. Um, I will say that Urban Para, I mean, we are rooting for you, man. You said that your number one goal is to come back 100% health. And we want that first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, having this experience has changed your perspective on life. Um, and seeing you in that video still playing soccer, just having fun with the other guys on the team, was really good to see. And that video was an emotional experience. And obviously, we wish you nothing but the best moving on with your recovery and getting back to that 100% mark.
And that's kind of where a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to do on the side is exactly what he said. Life is bigger than this game.
Yeah.
And when he came to play here, there was a lot of stuff that was said as a rival player, right? You jaw at him and you do all of this and he frustrates you and everything else. At the end of the day, he's a person, and to deal with something like this, absolutely. I want to see him back. I want to see him happy, healthy. I want to see him enjoy his family. I want to see him be around for those guys and just continue to have that joy that he has. And if you guys haven't gone and seen the video, if anyone watching hasn't gone to see the video, it's on Northern Colorado's YouTube site. It's a 3-minute long video, and hold back a tear because you
Yeah.
will. And absolutely, Irvin Para, stay strong, get through this. I hope to see you back one day where we can jaw at you again in the friendly rivalry, the support that we give. Uh, but I want to see you back happy and healthy and
Mhm.
living life. Because that's really what it's all about. Is we support our teams, but we support the people, not the face. We support the people, and this is just another reminder that these guys are people, and
Yeah.
yeah, and get checked.
And
Absolutely,
that's
get checked.
exactly what I was just about to say. As much as we want to shed the light on Urban Para's situation and to make sure that there's awareness brought to that, we want to encourage everybody out there, all the men, um, to check themselves. I have a personal connection to this whole thing. I'll speak to it here and now. When I was a young teenager, I had a mass removed. I was lucky enough that it was benign, but it was still a big enough mass that I had to go under the knife, and they ended up removing it. So make sure that you're checking yourself. If you don't know, look around on the appropriate sites to make sure that you're doing it correctly, and um, keep yourself updated on all that kind of stuff. You don't want to let that stuff go.
It's on the front of the Union Omaha kit for a reason. It is
Yeah.
a big it's a big thing, and it's just you know at the risk of going explicit, right? Fuck cancer,
Yeah.
Yep.
fuck it all, and let's find a cure. But most importantly, let's support the people that are affected by it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I can't add anything to it. You guys pretty much covered all the bases. I just will say that um, the league is. I mean, yeah, we're all rivals on the field or rival supporters, but it's all a big family. Like this is one big group, and we should all be there for each other. So don't be afraid to reach out, or if anybody ever needs anything, especially reach out because we're all here for each other. So
Mhm.
um, don't keep it bottled up because we all know like mental health stuff, especially with cancer related issues, can be just as bad, if not worse, than the actual cancer issues themselves. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, just know that people are there for you. So just reach out.
And it's not just Hailstorm Nation. I mean, you have the rest of the people across the entire league in your community. I mean, you have so many people behind you, Irvin. So stay strong. Just come back to 100% and find that happiness. Lean on those around you. Don't be afraid to lean on people and talk about things. So, yeah.
Okay, sorry to throw that on a down note there, but
No, that's,
you know, joy of life.
yeah.
It's what this is all about, is joy in your life. So
Hmm.
Yep. All right, Tim. Thank you so much for joining the show. Hey,
thank you,
everybody
Brad.
out there, go check out his new stuff. He's got a lot of cool stuff in the works. First and foremost, go check out that Pedro Dolabella interview. Tim, go ahead and tell us the URLs and all that kind of stuff again.
So on YouTube, you're going to look for user Ranting Blue Penguin. It's going to be the only video so far posted. We are going to change that in the future. So all one word, Ranting Blue Penguin, no underscores or anything else like that. For any of the written content or links to the video and the podcast content, it's going to be rbpenguinmedia.com. And then if you can't find any of that, you just want to drop me a line and, hey, where the heck is all of this? Or you want to give me feedback, again, rbpenguinmedia@gmail.com. I don't have a whole lot of other stuff going on, especially this time of night. So, yeah, I'm probably going to be awake and looking at it. So, no, head over there. Let me know what you think of it, and definitely keep tuned because there's more coming.
Cool. Thanks again, Tim.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tim.
absolutely.
Cheers.
And then in the meantime, Brian and I will be back later this week. I don't know if we're going to record a show Wednesday or what night we're going to be recording, but we'll have another show later this week. So we'll be highlighting some more action and giving you in-depth discussions on all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep, definitely will. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, all I got.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of League One on the Rocks. Thanks for submitting questions. We appreciate all the questions and comments that are happening over at the live YouTube stream. So stay tuned for more League One on the Rocks content. We got plenty more coming for you. And have a good rest of the night.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.